The moment I first saw you in your dress, the pure, white wedding arches overlooking our covenant aspiration, your veil quietly covering every feature of your face, the silk billowing from your brow like your eyes were a secret pleading desperately to be kept, your train flowing into firework beneath the concert of your every step. My breath vacated the stillness of this body as I reached into myself and said I never could have dreamt my future into anything so beautiful. My God has only ever offered the romantic misconception of this inadequate imagination. It was then I could no longer contain the ugly of my cry, or barricade the tears, water falling from my jaw like your walk down the aisle were a funeral for the unacceptable things in our lives, gently preparing themselves to welcome peaceful graves. Our past, our sin, our separation, the night sky, in hiding or in prayer, committing to arise into the vibrant starlit horizon, softly spelling out our names. A cosmic calligraphy, sandcastling stardust over the corpse of a solemn sun until our firmament represented nothing but perfect peace. But I knew full well back then I was dreaming, when I begged you on bended knee for the opportunity to glimpse at your gown in advance, if only to prevent this tsunami of salted rain from falling. Or as I stood there, statue still, reciting my vows, cradling the expectation that everything from here on out would be easy. It took us years to make it here. I will never forget our first breakup. My arms still remember the quaking of your body. Trembling steady beneath the very starlit night, I now stood offering my life and sacrifice, fighting to eradicate itself of our memory. How your body shook the sound of my voice, pulsing your name like a broken promise in your ear. Your every cry for distance, a sonata of questions my weary eyes never held correct answers to. You moved like you were mad at me, said you and I were living tragedy, a matchstick marriage of wildfire and gasoline, shouted through your tears how there was nothing beautiful about feeling this broken. And I responded with every ounce of raw welling inside of my heart that life is merely a cycle of building and deconstructing. How many times have you been the anchor stopping me from moving forward alone? Neither of us will ever be perfect, so make a million excuses and justify running on your own time. Whip up reasons our relationship was all detriment and no benefit in your own mind. It wouldn't be the first occasion that either of us fueled the fire threatening to eradicate our love this way. But the difference between us and them has always been how we have handled this hell and high water without drowning, to constantly resurface from the Mariana Trench depth. Each argument threatened to wedge between us, with one hand on the crease of our spine and our eyes staring forward into the promise of tomorrow, while I can still hear your blood begging my air for life, while my lips still hold the power to whisper your heartbeat into hazard. You will not give up on me now. And there we were, years later, slowly approaching an altar with bellies empty of breath and filled with nervous doubt, wondering if either of us held enough God in our hearts to consistently rediscover how to love one another 1,000 different ways while keeping our promise to remain faithful, to keep at bay the ceaseless distraction of 1,000 nameless faces, lusting for the opportunity to tether our souls to a hotel room door after one too many drinks, the full of our faculties neglected. Far too often, you have offered the right men the wrong opportunities with which they have taken advantage. Far too often, I have broken myself, falling in love with beautiful women that will one day fail to return the favor. Finding the right person to call your forever is finding the right person to endure a living hell with. Love has never been simple, but at the altar, I recalled a close friend once posing me the question, if you knew that today were your last here on earth, who would you call, what would you say, and what are you waiting for? We do not live for the first few chapters of our lives. These are just precursory. We live every hour for the end of our stories. Death is the only promise in life humanity has been gifted. In that moment, at the altar, when I remembered my body shed all of its scars like freshly molted skin, I knew in that moment, in my final hour, I would regret forfeiting the experience of making this everlasting promise with you. Falling in love is beautiful and dangerous and stupid, and the best, worst thing you could ever do with your life. It was as clear the day I met you as it is right now to anyone with common sense and a working pair of eyes. I have spent every waking moment of my entire life waiting for a woman like you, wishing that I was worthy, and wishing even harder you had X-ray in your eye, that one look would overwhelm you with an understanding why I stood there next to a priest in front of hundreds of people, bawling out my eyes, could barely see, could barely stop the tremble in my joints. How those moments were the happiest of my life that I have ever been. To this day, I have never experienced bliss like the elapse of the million years between our I-dos and the finale of our first kiss as man and wife. But still, the most memorable part of our wedding day was not our ceremony. More cemented in the back of my mind than tossing garter belts and bouquets or toasting wine was the eve of our consummation. I remember thinking, give me your permission, say yes. I have spent every day of my life waiting for right now this opportunity to intoxicate your flesh, caress your back with palms that have mastered mosaic. Use these hands like I have spent lifetimes crafting beauty out of brokenness and decay, so that one day these hands would be well beyond prepared for this moment. I remember saying, your every wish from here on is eternal, my command. So I will kiss your neck, I will caress your hair, suck sonata and sempre from your bottom lip, then slam your body against the wall like heaven exists in the palms of my hands. Touch you as if every digit has done nothing but hunger to become scripture against your skin since the day that we met. Kiss your lips like here is the only place that was ever destined for you to be. I belong inside of you, you belong on top of me. The will of God, a brilliant architect, blueprinting every beautiful millisecond of this moment, the backdrop of our silhouette melting warm and slow into mural along this wall was premeditated before either of our souls entered these earthly bodies. Even our shadows will be making love, as if to prove how easily you and I become one. Even in our darkness, your sweat is the fountain of eternal youth. My stroke is proof that evolution is only myth. This moment is inalienable evidence God truly exists. Right here, right now. This is metamorphosis. This is true love, with all taboo and the insecurity of this world stripped completely bare. This is love when we speak with body language, the songs that our tongues do not have to sing. I remember now, forever, and all too well the moment my poetry and reality begun walking hand in hand. How I entered you, how we entered covenant in the same stroke, how we lived till death do us part, until our bones carved the names of one another so deep into their calcium the marrow did nothing but cry for help. I remember how your soul still smelled like the intoxicating smiles of our first dance, your breath the very same as the first time you said that you loved me. I have never been so vulnerable or been so at ease simultaneously. I bet when they excavate our bones hundreds of years from now, we will have grown so close in life, our DNA would not be enough to tell us apart. That night, I swam so deep into your body, I could taste your spirit through osmosis. I tried to tattoo every word of this poem across every inch of your back, that hot drum beat, resurrecting the parts of me this world had stolen away, that wasn't ever hers to have. How I felt like Christ when you shouted, "Oh my God," and dug your nails into my back until I couldn't separate the image of your passion from his passion. Your nails, 10 whiplashes, springing your love into life across my spine, my nerves, understanding what it is like when sex is no longer profane enough to be transmogrified into fornication. When you are as close to kissing God as two people wrapped in the stained white linen of their imperfection could ever be. When a man feels the inside of the woman God created just for him for the very first time, there is nothing more spiritual than being in complete control while you are losing your mind, thrusting as if the sole purpose of you in this life is introducing your woman to a lasting love she has never recognized. How it feels to swim in serenity within your eternity, how blessing you with a stroke that still feels like sanctuary, how tasting you with a tongue that still feels like poetry would elevate us beyond the trial of this life. We have gone through hell to reach this heaven. So many times I have made you cry, counterfeit your smile into frown until I found my future, dedicating my life to the forgotten art of healing a grieving angel's heart. You never deserved any of my mistreatment, and I never deserved any of yours, but in the end of it all, you didn't deserve anyone but me, and I have never desired anyone but you. Resurrect me in your eyes until I am renewed, until the tears of our grief alchemy themselves into the elixir, healing the cracks of our foundation to daily make us new. I remember how your body became poem, how the way my body gave into the call of your lips was the sweetest surrender my life has ever known. I hope you can forgive me for being gone for so long. As I have forgiven you, know that I appreciate you, that near or far, forever I will thank you for holding me like a winning lottery ticket when my entire life felt spent like wasted breath, with lifetimes worth of light colliding in our eyes and an unspeakable joy on your lips. And now, as we enter into heaven, hold my hands, open your eyes, see all of me stripped bare for no soul but your own to witness. Let our fingers intertwine until they become feathers of the wings you claimed had been clipped when your father left. Your body was only waiting to re-gift them until you and I were ready to fly together. This feeling of joy and completion never happened on accident. Let us live here. Let us enter into this heaven and never leave. I love you, my angel, and I am eternally grateful for you still. Know that this heaven is ours and ours alone to keep.